Hi everyone. So I was thinking, what can we talk about today? And I thought, well, you know what? Let me talk a little bit about myself and hope that my story, my journey, I mean, there's a lot I could talk about, right? So I'm just going to talk about a few things, tell you a little bit about me, some of my passions, and what it is that drives me, what it is that makes me want to do what I do or makes me do what I do. Yeah, what sort of person am I? Well, I will tell you, I thrive under pressure. I love, just facing challenges. It's just, there's just something about facing a big challenge that just makes me want to rise to the challenge. It makes me want to, it's almost like I want to win against whatever obstacle, whatever challenge that I'm coming across. um, and some of the things that I do, what are my values? I was thinking about that. What are the things that I value the most? I was completing a form and got me, for something, and it just got me thinking about what are my values, and my values are, literally compassion, commitment. If I commit to something, if I commit to you, then I will see it through. I'm not going to leave it halfway. I'm not going to just dump it when the going gets tough. But if I've committed to something, then I will see it through. My other value is fairness. I believe that things need to be fair, and the fairness, it comes from transparency. That things should be transparent. There should never be, questions or doubts about what you're saying or what you're doing, especially when you are dealing with more than one person. Fairness is a big thing for me, especially as a leader in the workplace, a leader in my career. I believe that when you're fair, then there's no need for people to start to doubt you or not trust you. And of course, hard work is one of my values. I really believe that whatever I do, whatever I put my hands to, then I am committed to put the hard yards, to put in the hard work, not to just do a little bit or half or just do enough, but hard work. So I respect people that are hard workers, and I never shy away from hard work. If I don't know what I'm doing, then I will work hard to learn, to figure it out, and to get it done. One of the other things that I do is I try to live my life in the moment. And I try to make decisions as they come. And my life has been a challenging journey in so many different ways. And honestly, I am going to write a book someday, and I think I've started putting some thoughts together. But anyway. But even though it's been a challenging journey of my life, when I look back, I think, it's been the best approach to take. The best approach for me has been to live life in the moment. I see an opportunity, I will go for it. If I have the peace on the inside of me, I'm not going to try and overthink, overanalyze. I will go for it. And I always say, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is I could learn something from this. And so I'll go for it, And I mean, I knew from a very young age that I wanted to leave my country of birth, Zimbabwe. I knew that from a very, very young age. And I remember I used to collect magazines with pictures of different countries like Canada. And I always dreamt that someday I would leave and go and see the world and explore the world. And then after that, as I was growing up, the rest was just building up that courage to take action and to choose the right career path that might result in that desired outcome. It's true when they say the Lord orders our steps, that, God orders our steps, because I wasn't really sure, but you kind of just make decisions and you make choices, and you don't realize that those choices are getting you closer to your dream and closer to your destiny. And I'm the kind of person that whenever I was confronted with the unknown, faced with the unknown, I was very open to the possibilities and took leaps of faith. Now, I know many people are scared to take leaps of faith. We like to have facts, we like to have just to know a little bit about where am I going and things like that. But you know what? when it comes to leaps of faith, the only thing that you can do is really to understand your core values. What motivates you? Your core drive. What's your drive? What drives you? When you understand those, when you understand your values and what is motivating you and what drives you, that is what will enable you to take leaps of faith. Wow. And so that's me. I took leaps of faith from one point to another, one step to another, and those leaps of faith have literally taken me around the world. And talking a little bit more about me, not a lot of people know a lot about me. I'm a very private person, but in terms of my personality, I like to have structure in my day to day, but I don't need to have assurance of what I'm going to do next. So, the structure that I like doesn't stop me from taking leaps of faith. Because some people say, I like to have structure. And then that structure becomes almost like a cage that they need several locks to be able to get out. Whereas I like structure, but it doesn't stop me. I don't need to have assurance of what I'm going to do next. I like to be unpredictable. I like the unpredictability of life. The fact that, from minute to minute, we don't know what the next minute or the next hour is going to bring our way, and I just believe that the willingness to live life full of the unknown is a great source of personal growth. And I have grown so much and discovered so much of myself and discovered strengths that I never knew I had, just because I'm just willing to live life and to just go for it, kind of like jump in and swim. And talking about swimming, I nearly drowned because of that. Because when I was learning to swim in primary school, I saw some of the kids swimming and I had a few lessons, and I thought, you know what, I'll just go for it. One day jumped into the deep end and had to be literally pulled out of the pool. But guess what, from that day, because after I recovered, I asked to go back in the pool, and that's the day that I learned to swim the first 25 meters all by myself. So yeah, I love the unknown. I like the unknown. So even at home, when things are getting a little too comfortable, I try to challenge myself in every area of my life. When things are getting too comfortable, I'll challenge myself. And if I don't challenge myself, there's just something in me that starts to get uncomfortable with when things are just too familiar, too routine, too mundane. I start to look for challenges. I start to itch, what else, and because I like to continue. I believe that as human beings, we are created to continuously grow. And I just want to challenge you in your own journey, in your own walk, that you should be looking for growth. You should be looking for growth. And don't tell me that, I've come far enough, because you're never too old and you're never too successful to keep growing. So there's always growth. Right there where you are, I would struggle to believe that you know everything there is to know. Right there where you work, I'd struggle to believe that you have accomplished everything that you need to accomplish. I'd like to believe I always was, and I'm a risk taker, and I don't have an issue with that. And so if you're one of those people that, don't think yourself weird, don't think, maybe I'll come across as if I'm unsettled, I'm unsatisfied. No. You know what? Take risks. Take risks. I have taken risks, and they've taken me, Almighty God, they've taken me into territories and areas and places that I never ever would have dreamt possible. I never would have dreamt possible. So yeah, when someone asks me if I'm going to do something, my first and my most intuitive response is yes. Yes. So I'll normally say yes, and then it'll be like, okay, how am I going to do this? And then I start figuring out, if I realize, oh my gosh, I need to learn how to actually do this. And it's not that something blocks me. It's just how my brain mostly functions. I have a positive attitude to challenge myself and others. And because, I strongly believe that we as humans can achieve the unachievable if we try hard enough. my personal motto, and I'm sure you guys have heard me say it so much, if it hasn't been done yet, it's been waiting for you. And some of this comes from my father. My father always used to say to me, baby girl, aim for the sky. Aim for the sky, don't aim for the treetops. If you aim for the sky, if you fall, then you fall on the treetops. But you know what? If you aim for the treetops, if you fall, then you are going to fall right down to the ground and you will hit the ground hard. He said this to me when I was small, and that has stuck with me always, you know. And I mean, you just look at humankind, at mankind, and our history, and you'll see that there's numerous times throughout history that we've done that. We've tried hard enough, we've worked hard enough, and there's just no limits. And I know that previously I've talked about how we haven't even tapped to half of what the human brain is created to do. So no limits. The only limits that we have are the limits that we put on ourselves and the limits that we put on each other. That I strongly believe that we limit ourselves and we limit each other and we limit our children. So what am I saying? No limits. What is it that you want to do? What is it that you've been dreaming of doing? What is it that you've wanted to do? And maybe you even parked it over the years because you thought, what, I don't have time. I'm busy being a mom. I'm busy, I have to work because I've got a mortgage and things like that. But no limits. No limits. As long as there's breath in you, you can still do that thing. So don't give up on it, And one of the other things about me, one of the other strong attributes about me is that I absolutely think that acceptance of failure is key to progress. So I'm not scared of failure. I'm not saying I like it because failure sucks. It really sucks. You feel bad, and there's consequences. Like with anything, there's consequences. So I'm not saying I like it, but I've come to accept in my life that failure is a key attribute to progress. And so there's people that say to me, "Don't you stress? Don't you worry?" And I'm like, "Of course I worry, and of course I stress." But you know what? I don't stress about what if I fail and what if this doesn't work out and what if this happens, because it's a part of life. It's part of the growth. It's part of, what if it doesn't work out? Well, what if it does? And so for me, I wouldn't phrase it as acceptance of a failure, but rather it's more like the challenge to recover quickly after I fail. So yeah, I failed, but instead of dwelling on that failure and staying there, it's I get myself up, dust myself off, and move on to the next challenge. And I know that for some people they were like, "Oh no, but it's not as easy as that." Well, how easy or how difficult it is depends on your mindset. It depends on how is it that you view life. But I believe that, yeah, I failed. Yes, of course I failed, and it sucks. But you know what? Get up and keep going. There is successes that will come my way, and it's not about the fact that we've failed. It's about how fast we can recover, how fast we can come to the point of understanding that what has happened is unchangeable. So when something happens and you have failed or you've completely put your foot in it, well, it's happened and you can't change that because it's already happened. You've already failed. So what are you going to do about it? This is how I self-talk. This is how I talk to myself. And I also believe that our sphere of influence, my sphere of influence is in the here and now. I can't change what has happened. But what I can influence is here and now, the decisions that I'm making, and plan and hope that these decisions will shape my future, will shape where I'm going. But then the truth of the matter is we don't have an impact on what's going to happen because life is uncertain. It's just uncertain. And like I said, there's nothing you can do about the past. It's happened. They say, no point in crying over spilt milk. That's true. The truth is, if something has happened, I need to immediately start learning why it has happened, and then learn my lessons from that and move on. Just completely move on. So that's me. And one of the other things I've been learning in recent years a few of them, is becoming more and more self-aware, having more self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And if I have talked about emotional intelligence, if you go back and look at some of the videos that I've made, I've talked about emotional intelligence, and that's about awareness of others and how to manage my emotions in face of the emotions of other people. And you find that when you are self-aware and you have the awareness of others, it enables you, it helps you to actually work through your own path and work with other people, and just deal with challenging relationships even. So for example, I know that I'm motivated internally, so for me to get up and go, to achieve a goal, it's not a big issue, really. It's not a big issue. I just get up and go. I don't wait to try and figure everything out. I just literally, and I tell people that I think on my feet. I'm very intuitive, I think, and that just comes from I take one foot in front of the other, and that's how we make progress. But the truth is, there are different motivations for different people. All of us have different things that motivate us, and so as a leader, when I'm working with people, I have come to understand that because sometimes I get frustrated or I get impatient because some people are a little bit slow to come to the decision to move on. Some people are a bit slow to deal with failures and things like that, and some people are just a little bit so. I've come to understand that different people have different things that motivate them, and that's helping me. Some people will say, well, don't you doubt, and don't you sometimes fear that things? Of course I do, but and every day there's some sort of doubt. There's things like that, is things that are like imposter syndrome and things like that. But whenever I feel doubt, I always remember that the presence of doubt makes the way for learning afterwards. It makes me learn. So if I'm, is this going to work? And then I'll look at it and learn, and maybe even develop the method or the process or whatever it is that I'm doing further. And so instead of focusing on the doubt and losing confidence, I try to focus on the positive learning. Because that's the thing. Doubt comes. That's natural. You can't live a life with doubt, but when it comes, you don't focus on it. Because if you focus on doubt, you're going to lose confidence. And so now we keep going. The doubt comes, you push it aside, and you keep forging forward. And the other thing that I've come to be comfortable with is the fact that we're all imperfect beings. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, and there's nobody that has complete knowledge or perfect knowledge of anything. So when doubt comes, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. It doesn't mean that there's a flaw in me. It's just a normal part of life, and so when doubt comes, what I do is I look for the truth, and accept the truth of what it is, even if it means the truth is I don't have all of the experience that I need to be able to do something, but I have the qualification, and I have the foundation, and I have the experience that has brought me this far. So that means that I can grow, I can learn to the level that is needed for this next assignment in my life, for this next assignment in my career, for this next career decision or this career move. I hope that makes sense, and so that then puts confidence, the truth of the fact that I have come this far, I have this knowledge, I have these skills. And so because I have all these things, that gives me confidence in myself, and it spurs me to move forward and not to start to lose confidence and to doubt myself. And so what is my encouragement to you? Don't be afraid ever. Don't be scared ever. Whatever it is that you're dreaming of, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, go for it. Because if you don't try, you'll never know. If you don't try, you'll never know. And if you don't try, you might never discover your true potential, your full potential, and you might never fully understand yourself. So challenge yourself. Go for it, whatever it is. If you don't get it this time, there's always next time. There's always some learning. I personally believe that we are masters of our own individual futures and masters of our destiny. God has set destinies for us, but God is not going to take the steps that we need to take. God is not going to walk the walk for us. You need to walk the journey. You need to live the life as God takes you towards your destiny. But unfortunately our time on earth is limited, so you don't have forever on earth, and the clock is ticking. And so if you keep putting things off, then remember you're now competing with the next generation that's coming along. Think about it in the job market. You keep putting it off, there's some other people that are coming along. And so you got to go for it. Take some chances, keep going, keep learning, and you will be amazed at what you can actually do. And the best advice is just to understand who you are. Understand who you are. Try to find a purpose and never ever be afraid. Never be afraid. That's what I've learned in my journey. And then surround yourself with like-minded people. Surround yourself with like-minded people. People that think like you. People that have drive like you. Not necessarily people. And the thing is, sometimes people think, surrounding myself with like-minded people, it means I have to surround myself with nurses because I'm a nurse. I have to surround myself with teachers because I'm a teacher. Not necessarily. That's not what that means. Surrounding yourself with like-minded people. They don't have to be people that are of same nationality, same ethnicity, or same career or same industry, but like-minded is about drive, motivation, values, people that encourage you, people that inspire you, people that bring out the best in people, that complement you. That's what we're talking about, and always remember that the harder it gets, the harder you need to try. So the harder it gets doesn't mean you give up. The harder it gets doesn't mean you start moaning, whining, and complaining. But the harder it gets, the harder you need to try, right? But you don't always need to confront it head on. So when we went into lockdown last year, I really just stopped going to the gym, stopped working out, and then I put on a few pounds. And so the last few months I've decided, right, I'm going back to the gym, I'm going to work on me. And I tell you, it hasn't been easy. It's been hard, it's been tough. You go and work out and you come and you're sore all over and you don't really want to go back and do it again. But you know what? I keep going back. I keep pushing myself. And as the weeks have gone by, I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to feel fitter. I'm starting to feel a little bit lighter. And I know that there's still a few things I need to adjust, but the harder it gets, the harder I need to keep trying. And what do I mean by you don't have to always confront it head on. Yes, sometimes you need a different strategy. Sometimes you need to move sideways in order to move up. And sometimes you need to pace yourself, because just rushing into it, things I'm talking about working out, you might actually end up injuring yourself and causing more harm than benefit. And sometimes it's good to take a moment and rethink your approach. What is the best approach in this situation? What is the best approach in this season? What I used to be able to do 10 years ago, my body is a little bit older, my body is a little bit stiffer, and so what's the best approach? I might need to do different things. And so really, they say in judo, you don't confront the force. You take that energy and then you convert it into an alternative action or outcome. And so when you're afraid, instead of being afraid, just take it with you and say, why should I be afraid? And take control of the situation. I'm going to end here. It's just, I'm growing. I was saying to someone, I look at some of the people that are in my age group or that I started my career journey with, and sometimes I feel like I'm going against everybody else because I've got so many dreams and so many things that I want to do, and I'm not afraid to do it. I'm excited, actually, really, really excited. And so I hope this has helped somebody. This is just me talking my heart and just putting something together for you. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if this is useful. And as always, please share with somebody. When I do these things, I'm not doing them for groups, just one person. I know that there's one person that needs to hear this. There's so many things that I wish I had been told many years ago, many moons ago, but nobody ever did. And I know that there's so many people that don't have mentors, they don't have people in their lives to encourage them. So just share this with somebody. This might not be new to you, it might not be useful, but share. And I hope that as I share my heart, my journey, my life, that it'll encourage somebody, it'll inspire somebody. Have a great week, everybody. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and thank you for encouraging me. Till the next time, stay safe.